What's up, guys? Travis and John here, doing another intro before the podcast. This one's really interesting. John and I had the great opportunity of sitting down with one of my best friends, Todd Smithson.
Yeah, that was pretty good. He's a big guy.
Yeah, big tattooed guy. Been waiting to get this guy on for, I don't know, probably about a week or two now, but he's super busy, so we finally were able to grab him, though. And what were some things we talked about, John? Jiu-jitsu?
Man, we talked about jiu-jitsu. I liked hearing him talk about Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu, kind of like, how those two go together, what he thinks about some, those two playing off each other, especially some moves in jiu-jitsu, if you leave yourself exposed, whatnot. It was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, you guys are hearing in this episode, but he comes from like a Muay Thai, like John said, Muay Thai, MMA, jiu-jitsu background, been tattooing for 20 years. He's one of the ones that have been really affected for this whole COVID thing. He's a small business owner, owns his own tattoo shop and stuff like that. So it was real interesting hearing his point of view of everything that's going on. And you guys are here, like I said before, but he believes in the COVID. He's not a non-COVID believer, but just like anyone, he's ready to open back up and get back to normal life. So, but it's definitely a good listen to. We couldn't record very long because he's got to go do some other stuff.
Busy man.
He's a very busy man. So, but with that's going to be our guest. And then John, what's our beverage of the day, man?
Man, I got some Stone Scorpion Bowl IPA. I like the verbiage on the bottom is a punch to the stinger. Well, it's pretty good. I can't complain. It's ice cold, not too hoppy. A little bit of citrus in there, and 7.5% alcohol.
So get you drunk real quick. John's already looking over here like he's got a little bit of a buzz going on.
Well, we did work all day today.
That we did. And then we sat here and did a podcast. And I was afraid. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna like not be in it. But once the conversation started going, it was real good. But now that's the intro. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode of Elbows Tight Podcast with Todd Smithson. And talk to you later. Thanks. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Elbows Tight Podcast. It's your host, Travis and John. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not bad. It's kind of warm in here.
Well,
it's getting warmer. We close the door.
There's no AC, bro.
Right on that coast, it's nice, but if you have everything closed down, no windows or nothing, so we don't have all that background noise, it gets kind of warm.
I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
This
fan above us
I almost need a
nice
blanket.
What?
Yeah, I wake up cold. I'm like, man, what's going on around here?
Yeah, I started when I've been riding the bike into work every morning. At first, I wasn't wearing a sweater, and then I realized I actually need a sweater in the morning because going 20 miles an hour in a short sleeve T-shirt at 4 o'clock in the morning actually gets kind of cold.
Which is surprising because you're kind of husky. I thought you'd have that insulation.
Here we go. Here goes the fat jokes already. Look, Todd's already like, oh, that's mean. Todd didn't even say anything to me in the streets. He wasn't like, what's up or anything. He was just like, looking kind of husky. I was like, I'm never going to live this down. I got to lose this dad.
Husky's good. Husky just means you look strong.
Yeah, I like how you played that one off.
I met you much smaller.
Yeah, right. We'll get into that later. Todd's known me for quite a while now. But without further ado, our special guest for today is one of my best friends in the entire world. I've known him for, God.
Sucks for you.
I've known him for probably about coming up 11 years now, coming up on 12 years. Met him back when I was a young lad, fresh in the Navy in 2009. It's a long time ago.
Really?
2009, yeah. And if you guys didn't hear, this is Todd Smithson. So, Todd, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and just a little backstory. You don't got to go too deep if you don't want to.
Well, I don't know how deep you want to go, but yeah, Todd Smithson. I tattoo in San Diego and started doing jiu-jitsu in, what was it, 99, 2000 maybe, 2001, somewhere there. Did it right before, I was doing it almost to purple belt, and then I quit, did a bunch of Muay Thai, did a lot of Muay Thai. And then I got sick of getting kicked in the legs and the head. So, I'm back to doing jiu-jitsu again. And I went from almost purple belt back to lowly white belt.
Well, that makes you perfect for us.
Dude, things have changed. Like I went to the professors and I said, listen, this is the deal. Like I was ready to test. And but I ended up taking off going somewhere else. And they said, where do you want to start? And I said, I kind of want to start back at white belt.
Yeah.
Just it's changed. It's no longer like even the gis, we used to rip gis off of people. Now you can't do it at all unless that guy comes in with a really cheap one.
Yeah, rip gis off. Like, what do you mean? Like, you
they
literally
were
would
just
grab
cheap.
it?
Yeah,
oh,
like
okay.
they're not the quality that they are today.
Yeah.
Not at all. But yeah, I mean, they were a lot thinner. They were just judo gis.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were easy to tear the seams and then, take 2 months to find another one. So you had to sew it back together real quick.
Yeah. It's not as easy as it nowadays.
It's
right?
not Amazon and you have that one next day.
$60, Amazon. Done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are perfect.
Yeah.
So
we when we first started jiu-jitsu, there's not a whole lot of information.
You're welcome,
out
by
there.
the way.
Yeah, so I'll get into that too. But quick story about the gis is when John and I first started, there was no real information out there on what's like a good beginner gi. I don't want to spend $130 on a brand new gi when I'm brand new to jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so John and I did a little bit of Amazon searching and found these $50. I think they're $55 gis on
the
Amazon.
Hawk ones or something like that.
No, it wasn't the Hawk ones. Shit, I can't even remember now.
I forgot what they're called. No, not the Fuji. But
They were like, you'll go faster, you'll be stronger. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
I
wow.
definitely need
Yeah.
this
They were
one.
superhero
Yeah,
gis.
that shit didn't
Yeah,
work
right.
at all. It's like, why am I still tapping?
it's like but we found those and you could feel that they're a little bit cheaper, they're a little bit thicker, the material's not as nice, but for a beginner in jiu-jitsu, they were perfect. Like they didn't shrink too much at the beginning. I just got fat, so it's like so Todd is kind of the reason why I got into jiu-jitsu back in 2009, 2010. I used to hang out at Todd's tattoo shop religiously. I thought it was my home for some reason.
Dude, there was a point where it was. We were kind of like, and I remember Derek going, does he ever go home? I was like, I don't know. You got nowhere to go. Just let him enjoy the couch.
I would literally get off work at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, go to Todd's shop and just hang out at the shop all day. And then Todd and I would go ride bikes or go do whatever at the end of the day. And like most people that I've become really good friends with, I kind of just force myself into their life and then they kind of just accept it.
You're like, well, used to it now.
But Todd, back in the day, he used to grab me and wrap me up in front of the shop. Little old Travis, when I was 145 pounds, and he used to jiu-jitsu me, was what I used to call it, in the shop, and I would be yelling out the door like, help, help. People just walking by, and Todd's like, don't look at him. But that was the first introduction
and
to
that's when I
jiu-jitsu.
was fighting. I was 180 back
Yeah,
then.
you're 180, 185. Yep, I remember that.
A lot smaller.
Yeah, I know, right? When I saw you the first time, I was like, damn, Todd put a lot of muscle on, right?
Bicycles.
Yeah.
Bicycles
right?
did it,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
Yeah, and then that's the way I got into cycling too, was Todd. You and I kind of bought our first bikes together when Derek introduced you to Fixies.
Good old Derek.
Yeah, back when we used to ride Fixies, sick Fixies.
What was it? 6 Fixies or something? Whatever?
Yeah. And then we used to unicycle downtown.
Still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was unicycling downtown one time and a guy yelled at me, do a wheelie. And I was like, oh, I don't think he understands. But so what made you get back into jiu-jitsu? You just wanted something different again, or?
I wanted my daughter to do it. And I knew that because we'd put her in dance and she was just, at the time, I think she was 5, maybe 6. And she was kind of okay, but she was that kid off in the corner doing her own thing.
Right,
and it was like, okay, so she's not into this. All these other kids are doing perfectly choreographed things and she's just parlaying in the corner. Like, okay, you just don't really care about this. And then we put her in swim class because that was important. She did really well in that.
Yeah.
And then, there was these 2 bullies at her school, and we're talking kindergarten, first grade, but these 2 boys were getting really rough with her, and I, obviously I didn't like it, and I was ready to go smash a kindergarten child. But yeah, so I talked Carly into it, and I said, hey, let's see what she does if she likes it. And the place that we were going was the Stronghold, and they had classes at the same time for, a lot of places have kids class, and adult class. But I was on one mat, she was on the other mat. So I could sit there and watch her roll, and I'd look at her and be like, and so she loved it. Next thing you know, her takedowns were better than mine. And this one kid got her in a rear naked and she got out of it. I was like, I wouldn't even have got out of that.
Dang.
That was good. And then we would get home and she'd want to roll some more. So she was going maybe 3-4 times a week up until March when it all went down.
Yeah.
And she hasn't done it much. It's kind of hard for us. I try to roll with her and just keep her sharp, but I'm so much bigger than her. So it's not very fair. I got 100 pounds on the kid, or 200 pounds. Shit. But yeah, so we're still trying to do it. And I really want her to start doing class, but the whole COVID thing. I don't know where I
Yeah.
stand on it. And
How old is she?
She's going to be 8 at the end of the
Oh,
month.
there you go.
crazy.
Nice.
And I feel like I'm an irresponsible parent if I throw her back in there with these kids because I don't know where the parents are. I don't know what they're doing with their kids, and so, we just haven't, me and Carly really haven't been 100% on letting her go back yet. But as soon as she can go back, she's dying to go back. So
Yeah, that's cool. We both have our kids in it also.
Yeah.
Charles, I finally gave him the okay to like, you tried it, you did it for almost 2 years, you're still not enjoying it, you still don't want to go to class every night, so I told him he doesn't have to do it anymore. He got 4 stripes on his white belt.
Oh, wow.
He competed before I did.
That's
in
right.
jiu-jitsu.
You told me about that.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what, you gave it more of an effort than I thought you were gonna, so if you don't want to continue to do it anymore, you don't have to, but you got to stay active. So you got to do something.
Yeah,
so that was our only agreement. And he wants to play tennis or golf, and I'm like, great, like 2 super expensive sports, because like training camps for those guys are super expensive. So
Yeah, good upside though. He's good at it. Make a lot of money.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, you gonna have Olivia go back to it, or is she
Yeah.
good now?
So
Are you
I got
having
one
Olivia
daughter
too?
that's 7. She's in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she's been going probably almost 2 years now. And
Where at? Here?
No, in Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At our gym. But so she started probably at 5.5. My middle-aged daughter has been going for about 2 years, but she doesn't really want to go anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm not forcing her at this point, but she's about to start going back anyway in a couple months because there's nothing else she can get into.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is that, like, I've been trying to keep Olivia going, but there's only so much we can do. We can't
Yeah.
ride bikes together. Although she did do a 14-mile bike ride the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked with that. But yeah, like there's not much I can do with her anymore. And she's not like a mom. She's like me. She's nonstop energy all
Yeah.
the time. So we're trying to figure out something else to get her going. But the pools, all the pools are closed.
Yeah,
all this
right.
is closed. So, other than taking her for a 10-mile hike or a run, like that's
Has
it.
she shown interest in any other things? Have you like
Her-
dabbled in it?
She loves coming to the track with me and riding the bikes up there. She really likes that part. And I think a lot of it is too because there's so many adults.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first day she got on the velodrome, she went straight to the boards. Like didn't even think about it. Like she's 28 degrees going around. She hasn't done LA yet because LA is scary as hell.
Is it?
Yeah, LA's 48 degrees. And you have to do 20, or the wheels slide out and you slide down the track and get splinters and burns. It's fun though.
Yeah.
You
So
get-
has that taken your like addiction to other things?
No.
Velodromes.
No, what do you mean?
So your main priority is what, cycling or jiu-jitsu, or
Both.
do you kind of both of them? You kind of split it between both
Yeah,
of them.
I right now I'm training. I get like 2 to 4 sessions a day in because I'm only working 3 maybe 4 days a week because of the way things are. Like as far as the shop goes, I think we're down to like 20 or 25% capacity, which means I can only have at most I think 4 or 5 people in the shop instead, and that includes clients. So like one artist, one person, one artist, one person. I'm done. Like that's
Wow.
capacity.
Yeah.
So like someone can't even sit in there and draw. So I'm down to 3 days a week, but I'm booked through November right now. So
that's good.
it's still good. But,
Yeah.
so I have like 4 days off a week. So I got plenty of time.
Right.
And while she's sitting at the table drawing or whatever, working on school, I'm on the patio throwing kettlebells, And so I did 3 hours this morning of jiu-jitsu, then I did kettlebells,
Jeez.
and then later today I'll go for a 3-4 mile run with her, and then I might do it again. So yeah, like
It's lots of
I'm
energy.
There's a lot of energy.
It sucks, and I'm 41, so it's not getting any better.
He's 42, so look at the age difference. Or look at the difference.
That's because you work every day.
Making me tired.
But yeah, like so Tuesdays and Saturday mornings I'm on the track, and then usually I do a jiu-jitsu session later in the evening, and then somewhere in between that I'll do kettlebells or. I mean, yeah, I haven't gone to the gym yet, which is killing me. Like I really want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
But I keep going on Instagram because I look at, they tag where they're at. They tag at the
Yep.
gym. And I'm looking at everybody at the gym, and no one has masks on. No one's wiping anything down. And again, I don't know where I'm at on this, but
Yeah.
you could at least take the effort. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's just a little bit of effort you could put into this,
Yeah.
and I'd be okay with it. But yeah, so it's just the patio and the convention center stairs.
Yeah. The way I feel about this whole COVID thing, John kind of feels the same way, I think, is like, I'm over it, but I trust myself more than other people. Like, I know who I'm hanging out with and who I'm around, right? It's who those people are around.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, like, I may see you quite often, but I really don't know what you're doing when we're not around each other. So I don't really need you to try to get me sick. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at with it now.
I feel like I don't know if I believe in it. Obviously it's there. I mean, it's an obvious fact that it's there, but I don't know, I don't want to take that extra step and get it and go, because that's always been my luck. Like, I always went one step too far. And I broke my leg, and it was like, if I just not done that, this wouldn't have happened. So, and Carly's super cautious about it. She's pretty nervous about it because she has had some friends die from it, and it's been pretty. Some friends in Europe, especially, it's been pretty bad. So we know it exists. We know it's there,
right?
And if we can avoid it, let's do it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my grandma passed from it, so I was like, well, but once again, that could have easily have been somewhat avoided. But she still worked. She worked in a nursing home when she was in her mid-70s. You know what I mean? She worked like 3-4 days a week, and so if someone at her work would have just said, "Hey, you should probably not be here. You're part of the high risk. You should probably just stay home." And then when everything calms down, you know what I mean? So.
If everything ever calms down.
Right.
Let's get through the election. It'll all die.
Oh, yeah. That's what everyone says, right? That's the thing, right? It's like, it's kind of like the flu or, every other virus or disease that's out there. It never really is eradicated. It's always around. COVID's always going to be around.
And if you're immunocompromised in any way, you're always highly susceptible to those viruses and diseases. Like, that's not changed.
Yeah. Right. Like, if an elderly person gets the flu, they have to worry about
pneumonia, and everything. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If John gets COVID with how terrible his body is, he's really.
Well, I mean, one of Carly's friends, he's a Cirque du Soleil performer. He's one of the gymnasts, and she talks to him on Facebook and talks to him, and he got it, and he has been absolutely just wrecked by this thing.
Really?
They haven't. I know they did. I know a lot of people have had to get amputations. A lot of people we know, but he's been absolutely wrecked. I mean, this guy is like Olympic caliber athlete, and he barely can breathe now. He's just whatever it did to him, it's still doing to him. And there was at the beginning, I was like, you listen to different podcasts, you listen to good immune system, good this, good that, and you can fight it. Well, this guy was in better shape than I've ever been in. So if he's that bad, I'm going to just take a back seat and not risk it.
Back in December, John, you can attest to this. There was something that went around our area, and
it was rough.
See, I think I got it in March.
So I'm pretty
told you
sure
about that.
Yeah. And I got it first, and I don't know if it was COVID because it wasn't. It was before the pandemic kicked in. Like I said, it was like December, I think, when it hit us, and it spread like wildfire through our gym. But the first day, I felt kind of crappy, whatnot. Second day, I was like, oh, I'm feeling better. Third day, I couldn't even get out of bed. It was terrible. Body ached. I couldn't breathe. And then they started reading all the symptoms. I was like, oh, I think I got COVID back in December.
Yeah, see, in March, I couldn't breathe. I remember laying in bed just like, damn, I can't breathe. And, I used to run ultra marathons. I did 100-mile runs before. And I'm laying there kind of like, I can't breathe. This is so weird. So, yeah, when it all started, then we kept rolling, doing jiu-jitsu, and everybody just thought, well, we'll just do jiu-jitsu through this, and it can't get us because we're doing jiu-jitsu, which makes us impenetrable. So we're good. Impervious to COVID.
Yeah. John, how you been handling? You've been still training, right?
Yeah, I go up to the Krav Maga place up the street. They pretty much got like a full gym in there, so you can work out. When I go, there's honestly like no one there. Like the guy, he'll give you like a passcode to get in there. You can go in anytime you want. So when I go, I don't even worry about other people because literally it's normally just me. So I go in, I hit the kettlebells, I hit the heavy bags.
Oh, that's crazy.
I do my stuff on the mat, wipe everything down before I leave, and I just go. Like,
that'd be nice.
It's been real. It's like 1 minute up the road. It's been pretty convenient for me, but no jiu-jitsu since I've been here. So
I know.
I'm really worried about when I get back home and step on that mat. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
Since when did we get down here?
Oh, when you got down here?
I got down here in June. June was the last for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I got down here August 10th, and I got a stripe on my belt. I think it was like July 30th, and that was the last time I rolled.
Yeah, we were talking about that today or yesterday. Or I think it had to be today that somebody went. Just imagine how out of shape, how uncomfortable. Because somebody like missed 2 weeks, and he was laying there like, shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then somebody went, well, think about the guys that haven't done anything since March.
Yeah.
When they come back.
Yeah, it's very true.
I'm going to smash them so bad.
Well, I took it as an opportunity because I really wanted to work on stand-up. So I've been doing a lot of boxing at that gym.
Nice.
So I'm like, I've just been working on stand-up, and I still go run for miles and all that stuff. So hopefully it won't be. It'll just be knocking the rust off. But
it's just the touch. You know, it's that feeling. It's that close your eyes and feel somebody move it and react to it.
Yeah. That's I think, to kind of piggyback on that, I think that's going to be the nuances and the second nature of rolling. I think that's going to be the hardest thing to get back into. When I rolled before I came out here, I realized that my engine was like gone because I hadn't rolled really much before that. I would like hit classes maybe once a week, maybe twice a week or something like that, just because of school and having a pregnant wife. I didn't really want to risk going home with it. You know what I mean? And before I left, I was like, dude, I'm tired. I am so tired. So I took the opportunity out here, like John. I run like 3-4 miles twice a week around the island. I may be husky, but I still can run, which is nice. And I got some bands. I got some resistance bands in my room that I've been doing a little bit of bodybuilding with. You can't tell it's under the fat, but it's there.
Oh, you poor guy.
But
so hey, I wanted to ask you, how tall are you?
6'1".
How tall is Cody?
6'3", 6'4".
They got to be close to the same size.
Yeah.
What gives you the most trouble when you're rolling with the smaller guys? Like, what really stymies your game? Is it when so for me, I try to like suck up all the space when it's some big guy, but that has not worked for me.
You know, I roll with a good friend of mine. I think he's got 3 or 4 stripes purple belt. He's an absolute savage, but he really likes to pull you. You rolled with him, Stevie. EOS.
Yeah.
He started back, and he's become a savage.
He was a blue belt when I was.
No, he's purple.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he had no stripes, but he's gained like 3 stripes in cents. Yeah, it's quick. He doesn't like space. He doesn't give you space. And I started rolling with him, and the better he got, like he's rolling with guys like we got like 5 or 6 black belts, and he just rolls with them nonstop.
You guys have Tommy, what's his name, that just won Nogi black belt worlds.
Yeah,
your professor.
And Michael Kusi and John. We got a bunch of black belts.
Michael Kusi's been making a lot of noise because he had that ultra match at Worlds, right, where he went against the like 350-pound black belt and
no, wasn't that Moose Messi?
Yeah, that's what it was. Moose Messi. Yeah. So Stevie doesn't give you any space. So I've started learning how to roll with no space. So when somebody is smaller, I notice they want space. So I just pull you in and hold and really try and hold them tighter. I think the one thing is when they get upside down, and I guess a lot of smaller people are just really what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of just spastic. You know, the way they roll and the way they're so free to move, I guess is a good way to explain it. You know? And when they're so free to move, and I'm not, because I don't like getting on my neck at all, especially at my size and then rolling, because I'm almost 230. And you get 2 of us that are 230, that's almost 600 pounds rolling around on our necks, and I'm just not interested. Right.
So when they're small, like, and they just keep rolling, it's like, you're just like, stop.
Just stop the shit.
And so, and you're just like,
just palm them. Just stop it.
And so you just grab some lapel and wrap them up in it and just kind of hold them there. They want space, and I want to just take away all the space possible. I don't like any space.
Yeah.
And that's from rolling with him a lot, because he's just, God, it's so annoying. Because he's probably only 180 pounds, so he gives away a lot of weight, but he sucks you in, and you're just like, oh, and then 30 seconds later, he's wrapped you up in a paper cutter, or God knows what.
Oh,
his collar game is just insane. Done.
Yeah, we have a guy similar to that, Austin Martin, right? That's how you say his last name, right?
Martino.
Yeah, Martino. He's got a YouTube page now where he does like informational videos for jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But he's a 4-stripe blue belt, I think now. He lives in Japan for school. But he's the same thing. I think he weighs 150 pounds.
Small guy. Yeah.
But goes inverted all the time. And so one day I was like, Keenan Cornelius, how to battle inversion. And I saw a video. Keenan was like, well, with smaller guys, what they like to do. And I was like, this is it.
and he's about to do what? Super heavyweight, isn't he?
Keenan Cornelius?
Yeah.
I think
At
he ultra
the
or
Pan American's coming up in Orlando.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think he signed up for super heavyweight.
Yeah, he's. I didn't realize how big of a guy he actually was now, but he's like 6'3" or something like that.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy. But
One of our coaches is now working with him.
Oh, really?
Sloan Clymer. He just won the. Was it Fight to Win? The
Fight to
brown
Win?
belt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He just won the brown belt one.
Yeah. Have you traveled anywhere else to roll yet?
No.
Just the Stronghold.
The Stronghold, and then the other one here that's affiliated with him is North Park Jiu Jitsu. But when we were just in Florida, and I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. And then, we've traveled a couple places, and I don't know. Again, I'd feel like such a jerk. Like I went and rolled jiu-jitsu with people I didn't know, and then there you go, Olivia. There's your COVID. And it's all my fault. Like there's I ain't getting out of that one.
I don't know if that'll ever change though now.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do is there's no space. I mean, it's close personal contact. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever really get away from it.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Right now, like Carly's stepdad, he's a risk management person. That's what he does. He works for like the biggest corporate companies there are, some of the biggest tech companies. And his entire job is working and crunching numbers and doing this to figure out risk management. Like, what's it worth? So like if they go and do a huge gala at some hotel, one company will rent out like 3 hotels in Vegas. All of them will be this one company. And his job is to do, how do we get this person out? And how do we get this? And where the helicopters come to get them out for whatever it is. And, I'm just listening to him, and, he has some positive things to say. Like, it seems like by December, January, there'll be something that, but don't be the first person to get it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the first person to take the needle, but let some other people go ahead. But it has to become normal at some point, and there has to be a point where it just kind of this goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Well, somewhat. I mean, there was a point where 9/11 had to go back to normal.
Yeah, it's true.
Wasn't that a Yankees game where everybody was super nervous to go to the Yankees game? People went. So, people went. Next thing you know, the stands were full.
Yep. And then, speaking of which, the 19-year anniversary of that was just a couple days ago. It's just crazy to think about, man. It's crazy to think about. It feels like yesterday that we had that earthquake in the shop and saw the building shaking, the power outage.
I stood in the middle of the road. I had one earthquake. Like we got to Costa Rica, we walked in the hotel room, put surfboards down, and the whole building started to shake. And it was me and my friend Jimmy, who's from Jersey, and then Steve, who's from California. So me and Jimmy run outside, freaked out. Steve's like, it's just an earthquake, guys. And then it happened here, and I went and stood in the middle of the road, in the middle of Market Street. I wouldn't come back near a building. I was like, I don't like this. The earth moved. I'm done. And I just hid.
It was so common in Japan. I'd wake up in the middle of the night just rocking in my bed.
Yep.
And
really?
I'd be like, oh, that's nice. And I'd go back to sleep. Like, they're
like being on a
very
ship.
frequent there.
No. I don't. I don't do earthquakes.
Yeah.
I can take hurricanes. I can kind of do tornadoes. Actually, I just saw a video of one of the fire tornadoes.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that's gnarly,
dude. That's awful. That's like the worst thing I've ever seen.
You're like, well, this is 2020 for you right there.
Yeah,
right. Fire tornado now.
Done.
So, what have you enjoyed more in your martial arts, Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu? Which one?
Man, I love hitting people. And it's at my side, like, you take the technique that I have and the technique that I learned from all the different coaches and all the different people. And you take all that, and when I fought, I was like 175, maybe 180 at 6'1", so I was fighting people so much shorter. And I really loved kicking people in the head. I really loved kicking people in the legs. I really loved Muay Thai. But Jiu-Jitsu, I don't know. I don't think I could make a choice. If you made me make a choice, it's hard because I'm really good at Muay Thai. So obviously,
Right. It holds a special.
it's so much. If somebody put it in front of me, I'd probably dangled it in front of me and said, "Here, you can have it back." I'd probably go take it because I don't have to sit here and start and work so hard because it's all there. It's just sharpening the tool. Now I actually have to learn Berimbolo and like I'm laying there.
His favorite move,
dude. Like I don't even try it. Like what's the point? And, screw it, done.
Preach.
What do I need that for,
so
man?
I was going to ask you, since you did that and the jiu-jitsu, do you not think to yourself when someone does that roll, the Berimbolo, like, well, you would just get punched in the face? Like,
oh yeah,
I would just crush your skull. But
this is jiu-jitsu. This isn't.
Yeah.
If this was MMA, no, that's why it's not done there because you just get hit, you get elbowed, and everything's done.
I had a hard time with that though because I originally got into jiu-jitsu for self-defense, and that's all we did. And then we started doing these other moves, and I was like, this is never. I'm never going to do this.
But you got to remember, 20 years when I started, it was so much more evil. Like people, we cared about each other and we didn't really want to hurt each other, but it was common to leave with black eyes and busted lips, and everybody's fingers were broken. You didn't roll half a lot of the time. It was brutal. And then the coach would take us to bar. This was one reason I left one place. I guess it's an old way they did it, but he would take us to these bars around Georgia Tech because I started in Orlando and then I moved to Atlanta and I was there. And one of the coaches would take us to these bars and he would like wait till these poor college kids got drunk. And then he'd go, all right, you go get him and you go get him. And then he would send us off to go and fight, like pick fights with these poor innocent college kids. And, at the time we're all kind of similar age, but like we'd walk up and start picking a fight with this poor college kid. And then we'd wrap him up, put him in a Kimura. God knows how much we snapped his arm off or pulled his shoulder out or who knows what we did, because then we'd just run out the bar. And then the next day he'd go over, well, you did this wrong and you did this wrong. And
yeah. You know what's really funny about that? What does that remind you of?
I don't know.
The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh, yes. That
you
is a
have to
great
watch
show.
this movie. It's
Have
a
you
dark
not seen
comedy.
It? Yes.
It's on Amazon. If
I
anyone
watched
out
it
there
on Hulu, it was fantastic.
If anyone out there has not watched this movie yet, this is a call to all of you. If you do jiu-jitsu or any martial arts, watch The Art of Self-Defense. It's a dark comedy with the guy from
the Zombieland.
Yeah.
is this the one where he puts on the yellow belt and then
Yes.
I don't want to say the end?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, this is the dumbest movie,
I
but
loved
it's
it.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, the guy that got so hung up on his stripe.
Yeah.
I've seen that, right? Everybody's like, where's my stripe? Like,
Yeah.
And then he wore his belt to work and
And
everything.
then
It's
they came
like,
in with the belt that
Yeah.
you wear. Look,
now you're always a blue belt. Or you're always yellow. I was like, oh, man.
yeah, that's pretty funny. So
I don't remember where. I think I saw it on Netflix. I don't know that I have the other ones. But yeah, no, that movie was funny as shit.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't beat him. But so what made you get into Muay Thai then? And how was the transition from Muay Thai to Jiu-Jitsu? Where did that come
was
in?
so
From
easy.
MMA? For MMA when you were doing MMA or?
Well, like I said, I started doing jiu-jitsu. Then we started rolling. Oh, I mean, MMA was at its infant stages back then. And I hadn't really been introduced to Muay Thai yet. We were just boxing and this and that was happening. And then I came across this one coach. I cannot remember his name. He used to work at like an LA boxing in Atlanta. And I remember he came in and got tattooed. And I started working out at his gym. And, he gave us all free passes. Here, I'll trade you. So we came in. And, man, like I watched him he never threw a punch in any of his fights. He just kicked people in the leg. And eventually, usually first round, like they were done. They didn't want to get kicked anymore. So then they switch stance. And then you're like, I got you. And then you just keep hammering for that leg. You fake that leg and you wrap around and get the other leg. And at that point, it was just, I felt where I was training because I felt guilty about beating up kids in college. Like we all kind of sat down and were like, this is just
This
wrong.
seems wrong.
It does. And I didn't have much of a conscience back then. Like I was horrible. And, but this just felt wrong. I don't know why it felt wrong, but it felt like these kids were just out trying to have a good time.
Right.
And here's these idiots just to run up and just smash them, And then he came along right around that time. I was feeling really guilty. And then it just kind of faded into that. And I stopped going to this place and I started going here. And then it worked into where I was working. He had a team and he goes, if you want to be on the team, these are the rules. the dude had a tree in the back of the gym that he'd shaved the bark off, and you had to be there on time, already warmed up. Like not like today's where you show up and it's like
20 minutes.
And everybody's like, oh, just come on, you can roll. No, you had to be already warmed up and ready to go.
I like
and
that.
if you weren't, that warmed up was up to you. But if you showed up late and you still wanted to be on the team, it was 10 minutes each leg. Go back there and kick the tree. And, you weren't wailing on it at first. And then, of course, the more pissed off at yourself you got, the harder you were kicking it. And, after like 6 months of being late, you could wail on this thing and leave dents. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This just seemed way more fun to me. Like, it was like, oh, this is amazing. You can break somebody's legs and arms with this? I'm down. And then when I moved here to San Diego, I started training at Undisputed, like the original one with
Dean Lister, right?
He was coming in and training. Yeah, I don't know that was like his home gym, but he was there a lot. The infamous War Machine. And there were a few other guys that made it really big that came out of Undisputed. Frank Lester was there. He was then a coach for John Jones for a while, and they had a big falling out. I can't remember. Dominic Cruz used to be there.
Yeah.
That's where he started. And I came across Coach Ed, and that was it. Like once I found Coach, he still is to this day like one of the best coaches I ever had. He understood Muay Thai. He understood the anatomy. Like you want to kick here and hit that floating rib and make sure it snaps off and goes into the person's lung. And all.
Jeez.
So he started here in San Diego, and he's always lived here, but I can't remember the karate studio, something like some Dragon karate studio. But they did Muay Thai, and they used to go down to Mexico in the 80s and fight down there. Obviously, no rules, no nothing. And they just fought everybody. And it was amazing to do that. So once I found Ed, that was kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
And Undisputed was a filthy gym, but it was amazing. When you walked in, it was like Rocky's gym. You wanted to fight, or you could go over to this really nice one. You're like, yeah, this place sucks. But the original Undisputed was amazing.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that place back in 2009, 2010. But you also trained at the Arena, right? Was that the other
I trained
place?
at the Arena, and it's Victory.
Victory?
It's Dean Lister's place now.
Oh, okay.
I think
That's where I wanted to
it.
go. It's like $59 a month. I was like,
And
man,
yeah,
it's great,
Jocko
but it's closed
owns
right
it
now.
Yeah, they're totally closed.
I looked at the boxing affiliate that's in Chula Vista, National City. I know it's in National City, but I've drove by it a couple times, and I talked to the manager online a couple times, but it's always closed when I go by. So I'm not
so
sure
far
what's
in
up
San
with it.
Diego, they've been allowed to open and then close and then open and then close,
Yeah.
and they almost closed it. Like this has been going on for 26 weeks, and my shop has only been open, I think 5, maybe 4. So it's 4 or 5 weeks. So I think this is the 5th week, maybe around 5th week we've been open since March.
Yeah.
So they've allowed the gyms to open, then they close us down, and they open us back up with limited, and then they close us back down. So it's just nonstop.
Which is like, it's really crazy to me
I'm
because
over it.
tattoo parlors, I mean, if it's a proper tattoo shop, like it's a very clean place. Like you disinfect everything. Everything is sterile, right? You wear gloves. Like even some people have always worn masks. I've seen tattoo artists always wear a mask from the time they start tattooing and whatnot. But same thing with like hair salons.
Even the
and
woman that runs
barbershops.
the health department here said, I think that you guys we should shut everything else down, and you guys are the ones that should still be open because I've been tattooing 17, 18 years. I don't even know how many health classes I've had to go through about cross-contamination and so on and so forth. So,
Yep.
I think I understand it, but
Right. Especially if you use all disposable, right? Like
All of
it's there's really no cross contamination there or anything like that. But
and then we have to wear the masks, and either you have to wear a full face shield or you have to wear the glasses because I guess COVID gets in your eye somehow. I don't know. So yeah, if we do all of that, I don't see where it's like I said, we're down to 20%, 25%. So there's me and one person, there's this person and that person, and they're on the other side of the room.
yeah.
I don't see where it's coming from, but I think it's more. I think because people think that we're dealing with blood and we're dealing with this and we're dealing with that, it's like this perceived we're gross and it's from you guys when most of it's from the restaurants that serve booze. because everybody just gets wasted
Yeah,
instead.
it's super close to each other the entire time and just like talking in each other's face because they can't.
Or that chick from Texas. Did you see her video? So there was some sorority chick from Texas, and she's on it, and she says something like, "Yeah, I tested positive for COVID." She's at this huge party, and she's bragging that she's now tested positive for COVID, but she's out here, and everyone's going to get it anyway. So here you go.
Oh my God!
There was somebody here actually. A client was telling me about it, and then I didn't believe him, so I went and looked it up. And
Googled
it's
it.
True, yeah. So this guy tested positive for COVID, and so the police show up at his house because he's having a house party. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
And so it turns out the police are like, you can't have this party in whatever I don't know if he was honest about it or they beeped something that said he tested positive for COVID. He's like, you have COVID. You can't have a party. And he goes, oh no, we all have COVID. So we're all just partying together since we all have it anyways. And the cops kind of like, all right. I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, so everyone at the party already had it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And there's the COVID parties too that
they're trying to do like chicken pox.
Yeah, and there's like a winner. If you get it first, you win a prize. I'm going, y'all just
stupid.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it makes harder for small business owners like yourself, right? Because the numbers will start climbing again.
Well, SDSU,
you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, SDSU over the weekend had almost 500 new cases, which put us almost. I think we can only be at like 7%, and that put us to 6.9% or 6.8%. And so when that happened, like that was almost the end of us. And so me and Carly are looking at each other, going, "I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
I'm done." And we just drove across the country. And I guess the part that no one can explain to me is Orlando and San Diego have similar populations, right? Mm-hmm. Similar weather, other than one's humid and one's dry sometimes. And then Orlando's numbers are so much less than ours, but they have schools going. They have restaurants going. Like we drove past Oviedo High School, and those kids are out there playing football with no masks. And the kids, we drove past an elementary school, and they're out doing their thing. So somewhere something's odd. I don't know what. You do the math, but I just found it odd that you got two cities that are similar in landmass, similar in weather, similar in population, similar in everything, yet this is this, and then our numbers are huge. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
I just wish you could opt out and sign a waiver. That's all I wish.
Right.
I've always said I'll govern my own health. I don't need anyone else to govern it. So if
fair
I
enough.
just sign an opt out, I'm good. But
until they come out that vaccine, they're like, "Hey, you need to get this."
That'll
vaccine.
be interesting when they do the vaccine. I mean, I remember in the military when they made us get anthrax. That was new. They made everyone get anthrax on the ship while we were underway. If you refused to get it, they just kicked you out with a dishonorable discharge. And that happened to a lot of sailors. They just refused to get it.
Yeah.
And you had to get 3 of them. They weren't really sure what would happen. But if you look historically at your Vietnam vets, they have tons of problems from the stuff they got, When they were forced to get it, that's just the way it was. I mean, you don't know. And if you think about this vaccine, this is the first time anything's moved this fast. There's been no long-term trial on it, no nothing. I mean, I don't know.
Don't they tell you never buy the first year of the car that comes out?
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Very
go.
true.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if, work will mandate it, If you work at a hospital, be mandatory just like a flu shot.
Yep.
I don't know how that's going to work. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know that I've ever been, as an adult, I don't know that I've ever been vaccinated against anything. I don't go get flu shots.
So,
Yeah,
maybe it'll be if you run a tattoo parlor, you need to be vaccinated.
I'll go somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know.
Bye, California, Joe Rogan in it.
Yeah, well, we've already talked about it, man. Like,
Yeah.
I've had enough. And, there was a proposal that 56% tax, and there was this.
I saw that.
And then the whole thing where they, you can be a 24-year-old and have sex with a 14-year-old now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and then, when you see all the other stuff that goes on here, I'm good. And they just keep releasing prisoners and more this and more that.
Yep.
And it's like San Diego's just falling apart. And then the roads suck, the taxes suck. Like, it's all bad. So I'm trying to. I keep finding pictures of Switzerland and Sweden, with waterfalls. Going, look, it's Colorado. We need to move there. And she's like, oh, that's beautiful. And then she'll see it says Switzerland. She's like, damn it, that's not Colorado. Yeah, so we're looking at either Texas, Tennessee, or Colorado. I don't really want Tennessee because I don't really feel like dealing with bugs.
It's real cold there.
I can, it gets real cold. We moved here in 05. I'm ready to have a season other than hot and then mildly hot.
Yeah, I left here in 05, and I was glad to get somewhere where it rained. I was like, oh, this is nice.
There
This is what
has
it's
to
like
be
have
something
seasons.
about living in a place with one season. There has to be something, that's not right, because it's not right.
I don't know. I just think you end up taking it for advantage. It's always nice here.
Yeah, I'd kill for some rain. Whoa.
Sorry, I'm in the background.
I don't know what Travis is doing here.
Oh, there you go.
I need to plug in the. Can you hand me the brick? I need to plug this in before the batteries die.
Yeah, I mean, Texas seems to be the spot. I don't know if you want to go there now.
I
mean,
don't want to go to
Washington's-
Austin. I know that.
Yeah.
I like Austin, but I don't want to go to Austin. I want to go somewhere that, as bad as it sounds, I want to go somewhere that I can carry concealed. Because here we found out.
Washington State, baby.
No.
Yeah, it's very much like California now. It's only getting worse. So.
Yeah. So I found out something really interesting when the protests and the riots were going on. This is how it was explained to me, and I could have misunderstood something. But if they the windows to my shop, we were like, screw it. We took everything out, we took it upstairs, and we hid it up there. And then somebody said, well, you got to cover up the glass, because we found out that unless you have unless you have terrorism insurance, that if they broke the glass, it wouldn't be covered. Right?
What?
Because when he made Antifa a terrorist organization, it became, if they broke something, it was terroristic. But then you actually have to have domestic terrorism on your insurance. So my door is just the one, and I have 2 doors. We have 4 doors, actually, because Carly and my shop. So one door is like $2,000 to fix the glass, because it's that earthquake glass. So it's all like this layers of plastic and glass and whatever. So then we went and we boarded up the shops, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And we would leave. It was really annoying because we still live above the shop. So it was really annoying because you'd leave the shop and we'd hurry up and go to Target, and we'd hurry up and go here, but we had to be home by 2:00 because I didn't. I love my truck. It's like my Tacoma's awesome. And if somebody started smashing with a bat, we're gonna have a really big problem.
Right.
I wouldn't have a problem running through a crowd that way. Sorry, stupid games.
Yeah,
stupid
it's true.
prizes.
It's true.
So the whole thing was so we'd have to be back by 2. We're watching the news in Home Depot, going, oh shit, they're coming. We got to go get this wood up. And so then we put the wood up, but we found out if they broke into the shop and if they started smashing everything and stealing everything, I could not shoot one person.
What?
Nope. They have to attack me. And they have to attack me with a weapon that's comparable. So I don't know that a knife would work. I would assume so.
Yeah.
But like if they came at me with a bat, I couldn't shoot. In California, there's the possibility of me being in trouble for that.
That's crazy.
Now, I'd have to sit there and just watch them smash my shop and steal whatever they want. I could not shoot anyone. Even if I was sitting in there armed, ready to go, they couldn't do a thing.
That's weird.
And then you got
because-
Florida, like you jump over a fence and you can get shot for being on my property without permission.
That's true.
Well, I think you'd be okay here. You just would always have to make sure the first thing that comes out of your mouth is you feared for your life or your family's.
Yeah, I thought that was the rule.
And the weapon has to be there. And
Yeah,
that's
well, I
because
mean,
we pulled up next
yeah.
to multiple police and asked him, like, what are we doing with this? And he goes, I got bad news for you guys. He goes, guaranteed. I hope you have $100,000 because that's what's going to cost you to get out of this.
Jesus.
And I was like, damn.
Oh, that I don't doubt. I mean, yeah.
With the lawyers and the court
Yeah.
and the years of doing it and all this stuff, and then is the stress and everything worth it? No, I'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because in Washington State, defending your property is grounds for lethal force. Like if someone breaks into your house or your business and you're there, then
If they broke into my house, they couldn't do a thing.
no way.
You can't.
If someone knocks down your door,
If someone knocked down my door and they came in the house without a gun and pointed it at us, I'm literally sitting there with a laser dot on them and I can't do a thing.
that's crazy.
That's how it was explained.
John's looking like he's loving California already. He wants to move down
when
here.
I lived here, I bought my first handgun here. And I'm from Louisiana. I didn't know any
much
of the
better
laws. I didn't even think about following the law of California. I
Right.
went to the store. I went to Leeds, the law enforcement store. Bought my first 1911. Strapped that sucker on. I carried it everywhere I went in the state, concealed. Like everywhere I went, I had
No
no
idea.
idea that you needed a license for that and all this jazz. I was like, whatever. I bought it. Like, I never even thought about it.
That's
I got
crazy.
lucky. I never had anything
Yeah.
happen where I had to use it. But
And I mean, somebody could have explained it to me wrong, or maybe I misunderstood something. But that's where, you know. And I grew up in South Carolina, and then I lived in Florida and Georgia and all over. And once you have your Florida concealed, you have it for the Southeast, and I think Arizona. And then once you have Arizona's concealed, you have it for like America.
Yeah, it's like
Except for New York, Oregon, and California. Yeah.
That's the same thing with like Utah. Utah and I think Arizona are the most covered concealed for the United States. Like it covers, I think, like 40 out of 50 states or something like that. If you get one in Utah or Arizona, which is crazy to think. Like I don't know why it's just not legal to be able to carry in the
you
United
would think
States.
so. Yeah.
Like no matter what, why can't we just have one concealed for the entire United States?
Well, coming here was like I had to really think about it. I was like, man, what am I going to bring? Because I know California's got like crazy laws, right? So I'm like, well, I can't have more than 7 rounds, right? So I was like, what do I have that
Is
only
it 7?
Well, they just changed that law 2 or 3 weeks ago now. No, now you can have more than 10.
Oh,
So
good.
you're
Oh, that's
back up to
good.
like, so all the handguns that you buy that say, not legal in California, you can have those now.
I'll just leave California.
Yeah, yeah.
And the worst part is I don't want to leave the stronghold in Brazil in North Park Jiu Jitsu.
Right.
Like I don't want to leave those. I
Yeah.
really would love to finish out and get through the belts with my professors. I really enjoy the place and I really enjoy the people. But
That's how I feel about our place too, especially because Kitsap County doesn't have a whole lot of gyms in it in the first place. But I feel like we kind of struck gold with our school and our CrossFit gym and stuff like that. You know, Cody, the owner. Shout out to Cody. He runs a great business. He brings in really good people, really good programming, and I've loved it ever since. You know, I'm just excited to get back. I only got 2 more weeks and I go back, so and then I'm gonna start rolling again. And
Kick my ass when I get back.
that's right, John's going down because I'm the same as you. I love pressure, and before I was leaving, I was like, you know who Khabib is? I want to be Khabib. I want to just like smash souls into the mat. You know what I mean? It's just
what was
like,
that law? Did you see that Lawler quote?
Where
He said, I wasn't just going to like take something from him. He goes, what were you going to take? And he looked at the interviewer and goes, his soul. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're really going to go for that.
Yeah. And that was like my main goal is like we all watch Roy Harris, Roy Dean, and their pressure series is just like phenomenal. And we watched the pressure series and then we practiced it in Japan a little bit, and I was like, this is the business.
Well, that's
right
my
now.
professor's professor. That's
Roy
where he
Harris
got
is
his
your-
black. Yeah, he just got his 3rd stripe from him not long
Oh,
ago.
really?
A couple days ago.
That's cool.
That was like the first guy we got into when Roy Harris, when we first started jiu-jitsu. I still pay for Roy Dean's
Oh, really?
his
me too.
his app and stuff. I
Yeah,
still watch it.
Professor Roy Harris came through the stronghold and he did pressure from the bottom. And like everybody's just sitting there going, this works. Are you kidding me?
Heck
And
yeah.
no one ever thought of pressure from the bottom, but it was the way that you just hold an arm and hold a gi over here and you're stuck. Like you can't hold it there forever, but
Right.
it's a way of just making somebody really uncomfortable until they
Right.
screw up.
That's the whole thing, right? I could always compare jiu-jitsu to chess, right? It's like very methodical, and like every movement has a secondary movement that you're already trying to think of if they react a certain way. You know, it's very, for a fast-paced thing, you have to be very deep in thought on what is going to happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I thought Blaine. You remember Blaine?
Yeah.
He had great pressure.
Yeah, he was a brown belt. He was probably about as big as you.
Yeah.
But oh my God, we were
His
white
pressure
belts at the
was
time.
sick.
It was
Yeah.
terrible. Because I would always be the dummy. I would be voluntold to be the dummy, and so he'll be like,
I was
Travis,
like, thank God.
yeah. And then he's like sitting there, and he's like, all right, so this is what it feels like, and I'm like literally, I would just every ounce of my body would hurt, and I was like, where did you learn that? And he's like, he grew up
Hawaii.
in Hawaii, so he was the only white guy in all local gym, and so he just got completely smashed and destroyed the entire time he was stationed in Hawaii. He's like, so I learned it very quick on how to deal pressure
He was
and
a
deal
big
with
guy.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was no joke. Like,
So he learned how to take it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So, and then he would teach us. He ran a couple lessons with just teaching us how to hold a position and secure someone so they can't move. And that guy was a great instructor, man.
He was.
Hopefully, we can get him on the
Enjoyed
podcast
his
too.
classes.
Yeah, and he was a country dude too. Where was he from? Like
I don't remember originally.
Georgia or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, You enjoying it, jiu-jitsu though so far, and excited to be back into it?
I am. Yeah, I look for it. Honestly, if we hadn't done it, I looked at Carly the other day and I said, I thank you so much for being okay with me continuing to ride my bike and do jiu-jitsu throughout all of this, because if I had I would have lost my mind.
That's the side effect. I don't think these politicians people are losing their minds. You know what I mean? Like mental health is a huge thing right now. Like people, they can't exercise. Well, now, thankfully now they're opening up gyms.
Australia's down to an hour a day you're allowed outside your house.
No way.
Melbourne, I think it's Melbourne and Sydney. Yeah, because one of the guys that I race with at the track, he's from Australia and his family's on lockdown. One person's allowed to leave the house and go to the store. You're allowed, I think, once a day out for an hour. That's it. You're stuck.
I would not comply.
Did you see that video of the chick that put on Facebook in Melbourne, the protest, the lockdown, and the state police came to her house and arrested her? Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, real story. She was pregnant. And they said, no, you're under arrest for trying to protest. I was like, well, good thing people look up to Australia for their freedom.
Wow. But that's terrible.
Yeah. But in any case, Todd, it's been you good to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. So appreciate you coming on, man. I've been excited. I keep telling John about hearing your story and whatnot. I was like, he's just a busy guy.
I was like, I crush him in the gym. He's a big guy, but I murder him.
Never once did I ever say that.
Any day, you know what? Like, you were here, and I knew you were coming, and I was like, oh, we're gonna do tattoos and we're gonna do jiu-jitsu, and we haven't done either one.
Yeah, I know. So I've been so busy, man.
That's okay. It's okay, because I got you next time.
Yeah. I still got 2 weeks, so we can still tattoo and jiu-jitsu.
We're done.
Yeah,
we're good.
Well, we'll talk about it off air, but so thanks again, Todd.
Yeah, of course, pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure, man. What's your social media so people can find you out there?
I have no idea. Carly does it. I think it's Nothing Sacred Tattoo.
On Instagram.
I don't know. Hang on.
I think it's Nothing Sacred Tattoo San Diego or something like that on Instagram.
No idea, man.
Oh, he's got to pull out his card.
I do. Isn't that sad? It's Nothing Sacred San Diego Nothing Sacred Tattoo San Diego on Instagram.
Yep.
That's it.
That's where you can see all of Todd's fantastic tattoos. Also, he's been my tattoo artist since, like I said, like 2009. So almost everything on my body is him. All finished and unfinished tattoos.
We got it. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. L'Oreal's always like, when are you gonna get your stomach finished? I was like, when it doesn't hurt.
I got some to take care of some of that.
Okay.
That's the only way I get tattooed now, because I've been covering up both rib cages and my back. And I can only, I can sit I think we've done 4 and 5 hour sittings on my ribs, but as soon as I only got an hour or two on my back. I don't know why. My back just sucks.
That's what it felt like when you were doing my stomach. It was like an hour and a half, and I was tapping. I was like, I can't do this.
So right now, in total, I probably have almost 40 hours
in your back and cover up.
No, just a rib.
Oh,
so my rib, the first tattoo, and then completely covering it up. I got another 30 hours on top of that, and then I got one more sitting. And then my back, I don't know how many more. And then the other rib, we're still working on that.
Yeah. Well, guys, make sure you check out Todd. Give him a follow on Instagram. Like I said, he's a great tattoo artist. If you're down in San Diego, check him out. If you want to get tattooed, I tell everyone to go see you. Even in Washington, they're like, where do you get your tattoos done? I was like, down in San Diego. They're like, crap, man. So, but John, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
You're kind of quiet today.
No, man, I'm good.
So remember, guys, check us out on Instagram at Elbows Tight Pod. You can follow me on Instagram at Travis ETP. We have a website in the works right now. Our YouTube page is up, and then once we get back to Washington, we're going to start doing some stuff with the YouTube page. So
we might get a live video on the next one, right?
Yeah. So we have all of our video production stuff here. So we're going to start shooting video too. Todd was actually going to be our first video, but I forgot some equipment at my hotel room. So
you don't have a wide enough lens?
Yeah, I do.
To fit my fat ass in.
It's a 15 mil. It's okay.
Between me and you, that's a wide lens.
That's right. I had to make sure. I was like, let me zoom all this thing out. I got to put it all the way across the room. So, but thanks guys for listening, and we'll check you guys next time. Remember, no oil checks here.
Word.